Y'all really making me amp. I
Yeah,
ain't playing
buddy.
my heart, for real.
Yeah, buddy.
My Alice in Chains poster and put it
Lightweight.
dead nonsense.
Lightweight
Y'all
blue
really
man.
making me amp. I ain't playing.
What's good, y'all? Drew Titan Bros on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. I see the family in the house. You know what I'm saying? I had to pull out the big guns. You see the sensei in the building, Stormy B-Man, my brother Marco from Champion the Chump. Y'all know him, Jeremy Williams. They're doing big things. And the historian, Kurt Sugar. Curtis, what it do? What it do? How are you feeling?
What's up, Drew? What's going on, brother? What's up, Stormy? What's up to my man? Nice to meet you.
You too, man.
What's going on, Kurt?
Yeah. So we're waiting for the champ to drop in.
Yep.
You know, I had to. You know, that video came up on my timeline on Instagram, and I said, he's still spitting on the mic. I gotta hear this. So you know, I had to bless y'all with that. You know what I'm saying? I see the family checking in. Case Nasty, show your boxing IQ. Andrew 100, King Jr., Anwar Willis, Be That Bitch, Reef the Watcher, Earl Taylor Sr., Jason, Nitty G in the building, Dwayne Jones, Boss Red, Adrian Vett, Opulent LD, Mark Wonderlit, Copper Aborigines, Big Homie Cool. Who else in here? Kevin Dunbar, Phil Hill, MP, what the fuck? Tay, what up? What up? Picasso, Brown on Boxing, Viva Tu Vida. What's good, fam? Jose Diaz, Tina Marie, salute, Sis J Grant. No doubt. So Young Merv, salute, y'all. JC, salute. Kano Local Sports in the building. So while we wait on a Southern T Boxing in the building, salute, Hustler Slim. While we wait on the champ and my brother Trick Noty be in the building, Melvin Harris, salute. Marco, Gumar Vasquez, salute. Let us know what you got going on. You and Jeremy Williams. Let everyone know what you got going on. This is exciting, actually.
It's good shit. Jeremy Williams, those who don't remember him, top-ranked heavyweight, 90s, early 2000s. He's fighting James Toney in an exhibition, October 23rd, in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. It's put together by Blue Moon Boxing, Celebrity Boxing Championships, in association with Zab Judah. I am going to be commentating that pay-per-view event. I'll be one of the commentators down there. And, you know, we're excited. Tony and Jeremy going to go back at it. Now, they used to spar. People don't know this. Jeremy and James Toney used to spar quite a bit back in the day. And according to Jeremy, and he's not one to lie, he used to get in Tony's ass. So, now don't forget, people don't remember or don't know that Jeremy had to bulk up to be a heavyweight. I met him. Me and Jeremy met in Kevin Rooney's camp in Catskill, New York in 1992. Jeremy was a beast light heavyweight as an amateur, and they hired a whole squad, Bill Caton, Steve Lott, all of Tyson's old handlers to bulk him up. Right. So he naturally is 175, so it's kind of an even matchup, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be fun.
How many rounds?
5 rounds. Not much, but 5. You know what I mean? And it's going to be no headgear. I don't know what – I think they're using 14s. I'm not sure yet. Mm-hmm. The gloves, but it's
how's James looking, like shape-wise?
Not good, but yeah, I mean, you know, not good, but you know how it is. He can drop, and James has always been kind of, ever since he went up, he's always kind of been on the, you know, heavier side. That's just how he fought. Anybody who knows boxing knows that being overweight doesn't mean you don't have good win. Doesn't mean you can't last. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's
so
true.
He's not looking that great, but he has some time. We had him on our show. James and Jeremy, you know, talked about it. They got a lot of respect for each other after sparring all those rounds and all that. So it's gonna be fun.
Spoken like a true promoter, man.
Tell
that fight, bro. Tell that event.
I'm not even making any money off it, but it's just gonna be fun. You know, Jeremy's my brother, and well, not literally, but figuratively, and yeah, it's gonna be great. So you guys should tune in. If any of you, Drew, any of you guys want to come down, I got you. If you happen to be in St. Thomas or whatever, you know, got your tickets, I got you.
No doubt, I appreciate it. I don't know if I'll be able to hop on a plane and go like that, but I'll be tuning in to watch. You know, I expressed some concern with you know, James and you know, his health. You know,
Yeah.
but you know, I mean, look, you know, he's grown. He can do whatever he wants to do, and
Yeah.
50% of James will whoop anybody in the streets ass right now. You know, the man is one of my favorite fighters of all time. One of them.
Yeah.
Yes, he is indeed.
Yeah. So I agree with you. It is, you know, but you know, it's an exhibition, so I don't think that the tone is being set like they're going to try and kill each other or whatever. But you know how it is, though. You never know once you get in there.
Yeah.
So
Now, since we're on that, what do you think about because I know he was entertaining Shannon Briggs for a second.
yeah, you know, Briggs is my man. I'm actually going to be involved also with his event where he's fighting Rampage Jackson. I'm involved with that as well. I don't know. From what I heard, James didn't want to fight Briggs. But then, of course, James says opposite when I talked to him. So I don't know what happened, but it didn't go that direction. It went the other direction. I think it's kind of cool. The whole, you know, Briggs is doing a boxers versus MMA card. So it's going to be all fighters, mostly older versus all MMA fighters, mostly retired. Because I guess if you're a current MMA fighter, Dana White does not let you go out the contract and do other things. So it's a cool concept, right?
Yeah. I ain't mad at that. You know, Shannon seemed to be in good health, and Rampage seems to be in good health.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be able to deal with Shannon as far as, you know, boxing.
Well, they're doing 2 fights, right? I think you heard of this. First one's in the ring, and then part of the contract, they're going to do it in the cage afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're going to split.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, yeah. I think Rampage is just going to it's going to be way too much for him in the boxing ring, but in the cage, it's going to be really tough for Shannon. Really tough.
Yeah. They're definitely going to split. They're definitely going to split.
I give them both props because I would never jump in the fucking cage in a million years. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
there's so many different ways of losing that damn cage. If you don't know what you're doing, you can get hurt, man. You can get hurt really bad, man. I've seen some like stuff on like local cards. It's like, what did he get caught with? You didn't even see it. You know, they put you in some sort of arm bar, and you're like, wait a minute, I was on top of the guy. What the hell happened? You know, I mean that's an art. That's definitely a martial art, definitely.
It's also about experience, right? That, like Shannon could train. Well, Shannon fought K1, so he has a slight, I guess. But you know, you need a lot of time to get to the level of where these other guys are at. So you know, a few months, 6 months is not going to be enough time for either guy to acclimate to fighting in the respective other person's sport.
Right. I remember Tim Sylvia fought Ray Mercer. I guess it was a fight. You know, Tim Sylvia is a former UFC champion, the Maniac, because he's from Maine. And he got in there with Ray Mercer. And that was one of the fastest fights I ever seen. Ray hit him with a right hand and flatlined him. It was the craziest knockout you could ever see.
Didn't Ray also lose an MMA fight, though, after that? Or am I
he fought in K1, and he fought I think what's this guy's last name is Bojanski. It's a black dude, and he kicked him in the ear, and I think he busted his eardrum or something. It was crazy. They had to start. They stopped the fight. The first kick, Ray was like, "I can't hear." He bust my eardrum. So I mean, that was crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
And Ray Mercer was a tank. Ray Mercer was a tank, man.
James Toney also fought in MMA. I think we all remember that one.
Yeah. He James fought Randy Couture, and I knew how that was going to end. You know, Randy was not going to stand up with James. That would be suicide.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did was he took him to the ground and rolled him around and eventually choked him, and that was the end of it. You know, if you're not trained for that, you know, boxers. And that's why I give so much props to Clarissa Shields. She got into the octagon. She got some really good training
in her prime.
In her prime, and she got in there and she made it happen.
Yeah, Yeah, that's
happy.
she's the first one to ever do it in her prime. Jeremy also, for people who don't know, Jeremy Williams also had he was 6-0, I think, MMA.
6-0?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was MMA or UFC. I don't know, one of those, but I think it was MMA. 6-0. Yeah, he fought. He didn't fight. I don't think he fought anybody of name, but he also was a relative beginner to it as well. So, yeah, man, it's brutal.
Yo, salute to my brother Judah Ben Israel in that super chat. He said, "Yo, I KO'd Roy Jones Jr. It was in fight night." Oh man, yeah, I'm a nerd. I got all those games.
I was thinking, Roy was one of the few fighters who can throw a punch while he's moving, not planted, and still generate enough power to sleep you. One of the few. I remember Prince Nassim did it. Most fighters need to stop, plant, and get that leverage. But he, man, like freak show shit.
Yeah, Roy was amazing, man. And we spoken about Roy, me and Stormy a few times, and we said, if you take a kid off the street and you're showing him how to fight, and you try and teach him how to do what Roy does, you would get that kid probably killed if he wasn't the same type of athlete. Because Roy did things that you just don't train to do. It was just comfortable the way he did it. I mean, there was I'm trying to think of. There was a bunch of fights. When you can hit a person with a leaping left hook, I mean, never mind a jab, a leaping left hook, and you still get caught with it. I've seen guys, they're getting hit with the punch, and then their hands are going back. I'm like, damn, how fast was that punch?
Yeah,
that was Tony Thornton, Drew.
Tony Thornton, yeah. Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, man. His that's why I say, my opinion, Roy Jones is the greatest fighter of all time, over Ali, over everybody. Now, fighter, not activist, not culturally. Ali definitely was, did more for the world and for the United States and for the movement. But as a fighter, Roy Jones, to me, what fighter even came close to those skills? Like physical switch. I can't think of anybody. Even Ray Robinson, who was fucking dope. Roy was just a few notches above. Do you agree?
You talking about like as far as like stylistically, like a prime? Like if you're thinking about fighters best at their
I'd like
best.
to hear Kurt Sugar answer that question.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'd like to hear. Kurt, go ahead.
I studied history a lot. I studied guys since I was 7 years old. I'm 54. Roy is an unbelievable fighter, but he lacked fundamental boxing technical skills. He was athletically one of the best, but you must have technical skills. That's why he had trouble in the first Montel Griffin fight, and he couldn't get past Antonio Tarver. I was studying Roy since he was an amateur when he lost to Gerald McClellan, and he lost to Frankie Lyles. That he revenged Frankie Lyles in the amateurs, because we had a magazine called Tomorrow Champions, and I remember Roy Jones being in there, Gerald McClellan, Frankie Lyles, Floyd Mayweather. These were the up-and-coming fighters that I studied, and they turned out to be terrific pros. I seen Roy against the Richard Halls, the Tony Thorntons, but when you slow down athletically, you must depend on your fundamental boxing skills. That's why he has so much trouble with Antonio Tarver. Plus, it was the weight. Roy with the heavyweight and came back down to 175. He lost a lot of muscle mass. Roy, indeed, is an outstanding fighter. I got 12,000 fights. I studied these fights. But to say he's better than Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson, I disagree with that, because they were athletically gifted, but they had what you call fundamental boxing skills, and they were and they can absorb a punch better, and that's taking nothing away from Roy. Roy is a dynamic fighter. In the 90s, you had James Toney and Mike McCollum and Winky Wright and all those guys, Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya. Roy was athletically, gifted, more gifted than they were. He did things. He was a freak of nature, but fundamentally, the Sugar Ray Robinsons, Muhammad Ali, he wasn't better than those fighters.
Well, if I may, I completely disagree that you have to be fundamentally sound to be put on the top pound for pound list. Roy did what he did, took his amazing reflex, his amazing knowledge. There was a method to the madness. He didn't just go out and close his eyes and start winging away with speed. He knew what he was doing, and he was amazing. So you don't have to follow any blueprint. Some people break the blueprint and they still do amazing things. This is the way I look at it. If you shrink Roy down or blow him up to any weight, right, against anybody, with his skill set, with what he did in his prime, he would beat all of them easy. And, in terms of him losing, yeah, you're right. Once he got older and his speed slowed down, yeah, that made him not as good. But he was also 34, 35 when that happened. He had been dominating boxing for 15 years. That's a career. He went past what he should have gone, in terms of his body, and that's on him. But the prime Roy, just art and almost like alien freak show shit, the kind of the speed and all the shit that he did,
Well, I would like to add something to there, Marco. Now, no one said anything about pound for pound. You said the greatest of all time. Now, what I will say is this. You have to be a five-dimensional fighter to be considered in that class. Now, the one thing he didn't have, and we found out when he slowed down, was the beard. You got to be you got to be able to take it, brother. And when you can't, that eliminates you.
Roy has been hit.
There's a special class of fighters that if they didn't have the beard that they had, they wouldn't be at the pinnacle of where you found them through history. Ali is up there because when his skills eroded after being pulled out of the sport for 3.5 years, and he came back against a class of nothing but punchers, okay, he found out, and the world found out, he could take it on the chin. And that, along with the technical ability that Kurt spoke of a moment ago, raised the stakes as far as him being great. You don't go through 3 fights with Joe Frazier. You don't go through a big fight with George Foreman, who was 24 years old, 37-0, knocking everybody dead, including 2 men who defeated Ali in Ken Norton and Joe Frazier, and be able to do what you were able to do. And then there's another heavyweight that came behind him called Larry Holmes, who was able to do the same exact thing and had a beard and had resolve that no one even dreamed that he would have, and had 20 title defenses.
Well, first off,
see,
Roy,
I'm sorry, I wasn't finished. I'll just say this last bit. But I understand what you're talking about and from the perspective of what you see. But you do have to consider opening up to more of what was once before, what's present, and make the assessment based on. And now we're not talking about he doesn't belong in an elite class, because that's not what's being said. But again, you cannot also take away from the fact that what the shortcomings are is what keeps him from being necessarily in that certain class.
Well, I'm 44 years old. I've been an amateur and a pro, and I know boxing. So I'm not just I know boxing. I've studied other fighters. I'm not just talking out of my ass. That's one. Two, when I said he's pound for pound, it's because the way I kind of think of the greatest is like, okay, if you shrunk them down or blew them up to the same size, who would win? What skill set would win? That's just in my head how I assess, who's kind of the best. And what you're saying about Roy not having a chin, Roy only went down once in his prime. He sparred tons of rounds. There's never been any talk of him going down and sparring. Roy had a chin. You don't not get hit, even though he was washing people out. True, you get hit in this game. I know it personally. You get hit. Roy did have a decent chin. What happened? This is the problem. This is what happened with Roy. It was such a huge jump from not being able to get touched to losing a few times back to back. So it makes people, I think it washes away what he did in his prime. And that sucks for me, at least, and for him and for Roy Jones fans, because what he did in his prime, unmatchable. I mean, you just look just with your eyeballs. You see him fight. You see anybody else fight. Nobody matched that skill, that power, that speed. Nobody. Not even close, in my opinion.
Hold on, I got a super chat. I want to just a salute to Lynette Brown. I'm sorry, Lynette Bowman. She said, "This is therapy for me. Went through a Category 4 hurricane, but we're okay." Oh, blessings to you, Lynette. Blessings to you. I mean, this weather's been crazy, man. You down in the loo right now? Wow, man. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad all our people out there made it, man. You know, tough times, man. It's around the same time that the other hurricane hit, man. This is like crazy. This is a crazy thing we're living in right now, but I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're safe. Blessings to you.
I want to say something, Drew.
Go ahead, Kurt. Go ahead.
Roy, I can understand when you look at Roy, the way he knocked out Thomas Tate, the way he put Reggie Johnson, who was a very good fighter, who knocked down James Toney with that left-right combination. I never seen anything like it. But all around skill set, is for the fan, it's dynamic to watch Roy Jones, the quickness, the athleticism, he was unbelievable. And I seen him fight in person. Sugar Ray Robinson in his prime was 128-1 with 2 draws and 85 knockouts.
Yes, he was.
In his prime from 1940 to 1951. Obviously I wasn't born. I was born in 1966. I'm 54. But my grandfathers, my fathers, Art Rush Jr., who's probably the best boxing historian ever, Bert Sugar, who I was named after. I love Bert Sugar, who used to be on Art Show.
Yep.
They all said, and Hank Camplin, they all says that there will never, ever be another Sugar Ray Robinson. In his prime, there's no footage of Sugar Ray Robinson as a welterweight. He lost to Jake LaMotta, and 43. Jake outweighed him by more than 20 pounds. He revenged 3 weeks later, in a famous St. Valentine's Day massacre, but he avenged it in 43. He went on a 91 win streak. I can give you my top 10 fighters. There's been many great fighters that we don't talk about. People don't know about, the Harry Graves and it's Tippy Larkins and stuff like that. They was before the Roy Jones and all those fighters. But Sugar Ray Robinson, 91 fight win streak, and his prime was 128-1, 85 knockouts. I cannot put anybody above Sugar Ray Robinson. He had a chin. When you fight Gene Fullmer and Jake LaMotta and those guys, man, and Carmen Basilio, those guys will run you out the damn ring. They will run you out right out the ring. Ray was a boxer. He was a slug in a boxer's body. He could have won those fights going away. But look at the left hook. And I talk about Roy's left hook, but Sugar Ray Robinson's left hook was probably the most deadliest ever. But we talk about Joe Frazier. But Sugar Ray Robinson's left hook used to knock people dead. And you know what? He doubled and tripled on his left hook. Go look at Sugar Ray Robinson versus Gene Fullmer. Gene got hit, didn't know what happened. Told his corner, "Why is Ray celebrating? The fight's still going." He said, "Gene, you've been knocked out. You've been knocked out." Sugar Ray Robinson, I'm a Sugar Ray Robinson buff. Everybody knows that. But I never, because I study his films all the time. I love Roy. Roy brought something different to the game. You can look at that combination. When he hit people, me and my friends used to be like, that's Sugar Ray Robinson-esque. The left-right was against Reggie Johnson. The combinations against Richard Hall. The left hook, the left uppercut, double left hook against Brian Brannon. We all said Sugar Ray Robinson-esque. I don't have Roy in the top 10 because there's other fighters came before him. But Roy, I got so much respect for. Very dynamic fighter. Go ahead, take it away.
Let me say this real quick. Oh, well, first, salute to Robert Singleton in that super chat. He said that 1-2 combo versus Reggie Johnson. Man, And Reggie remember that because we spoke to Reggie. Reggie remembered that. He was like, "Ooh." Well, he didn't remember it as it happened, but that's the when you're a highlight reel.
Yeah.
I mean, Roy made so many highlight reels of a lot of people, a lot of fighters, man. And salute to KP from KC5. He said Roy was athletic. He was not skilled. Tony was skilled. Whitaker was skilled. Roy was God-given. I could take that. Like I said, man, Roy, I've never seen anything like that, man. And I'm a huge supporter of Roy. Oh,
I think
he'll be back. Go ahead, Marco.
I was gonna say, I think in my opinion, there's a few different ways to look at the greatest fighter, right? If you're looking at record-wise and achievement, longevity, yeah, Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson, to me, by the way, is a very close second to Roy. If you look at impact on the world, Muhammad Ali, hands down. So I think each different person, depending where their head's at, that's the way they look at the greatest. And I agree. I don't know if you caught this, Curtis, but I agree that Ray Robinson was unbelievable and had a better career, had a record on paper than Roy, and was very close, in my opinion, to Roy's skill as well. Ray Robinson was no fucking joke. He was an amazing fighter. And that one loss, by the way, people don't realize the one loss he had was to Jake LaMotta, who he beat, 4 times after that? Easy. So, yeah. What happened? Oh, he's on the phone. All right. I guess we're trying to figure out what's going on with Roy. That's my opinion. Curtis, you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Drew's on the phone, so we're gonna carry it.
Yes, I got knocked off, but I'm back on, brother.
Yeah, I was saying that I agree with you. I think record-wise, I mean, Ray Robinson, man, was definitely a close, in my opinion, very close second to greatest fighter of all time. He did shit that, whew. And back then too, they used to fight. What was it? Once a week? Once every 2 weeks?
Something like that. Once a week. Ray fought 3 times in 19 days, where he went overseas.
Yeah,
different countries. He was fighting their champions.
Yeah, so it was a much more gritty era back then. But man, I've interviewed a lot of people who fought Roy, and all of them are like, they couldn't believe that. They were like, I talked to Montel Griffin, for example, a couple times, and he was like, I've sparred bantamweights, and Roy was way faster than these guys. The speed was just insane,
Now, people ask me, I'll say people like Roy Jones, Charlie Burley, Sugar Ray Leonard, who I love, and Tommy Hearns can beat Sugar Ray Robinson, because he did lose to Randy Turpin in 1951. He lost his title. Any given night, those 4 can beat Roy, because they were the best of the best. And Roy was the first fighter from light middleweight 154 to 201 pounds, and middleweight 160 to middleweight to win titles
since Fitzsimmons.
Yep, since Bob Fitzsimmons.
Yeah,
and that feat right there, his legacy is undaunted.
And Tony should have been the second one. Well, depending, because he got caught dirty when he beat Rui. But no, yeah, man, Roy. I mean, when I was fighting, I was trying to be like Roy, and and you're right though. When you have that level of athleticism, and there's also a mental aspect. After his loss to Tarver, we saw his mentality in the ring completely shift. But you have to remember, Roy's been fighting since he was like 7 years old. So, and at this point, that means he's been in the game 30 years around when he finally lost to Tarver. Maybe he was just done. Maybe his body was done. You know what I mean? Because he only had how many fights it was, but 14 years is a long time. And he was fighting since he was, 7, and tons of amateur fights. So that wears on your body. You know what I mean? And it wears on your mental and everything. So, I'm very curious. I don't even know if he's aware of what happened, because there's very few people you've seen go mentally kind of change that way. His ferocity, everything kind of dropped after Tarver loss.
Yeah, Roy had 134 amateur fights. Roy is dynamic, man. I have to get credit where credit is due, because Listen, I've been to the Garden at least 100 times. I've seen all the fighters. no fighter left my mouth open when Roy hit Brian Brandon with that combination. It was just the all-around skill set. Roy at 168 pounds in his prime was hell to deal with.
Yeah. What
Was
about
hell to deal with.
what about the hands behind the back and then knocking a dude out? I mean, that's fuck. I mean, nobody's ever done that. I don't think anybody. Crazy, you know. And people who've been in the ring know how dangerous and how skillful you have to be to actually do that, to put your hands behind the back. You know, to the casual, it's just like, oh, whatever. But that takes a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the way he beat Reggie Johnson, I said, oh, I'm thinking the Reggie Johnson fight was going to be like the Montel Griffin fight. I'm like, oh man, Roy got a tough fight tonight. He got a tough fight tonight. And when he hit Reggie Johnson with that combination, it was like a split second, boom, boom, like turning on a light switch. I said, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this before. Oh my gosh.
To this day, right?
Oh.
To this day, the two most entertaining fights to watch, in my opinion, that are totally one-sided, but still because usually one-sided fights aren't that entertaining, right? But the two, in my opinion, that were the most entertaining one-sided fights was one when Mayweather beat Gotti, and two when Roy beat Pazienza. Those two they were both just brutal and beautiful display of boxing and viciousness all combined in with a little bow on it.
It was a virtuoso performance with Roy and Pazienza and Mayweather and Gatti. It was like going to see a musician in concert, a great musician in concert. When you talk about those two fights, I'm glad you brought that up. Ring in my head because I never forget them. The combination that Roy put Pazienza down when he was backing up, and the combinations that Mayweather hit Gatti with. I remember Jim Lampley said landing like lasers.
Yeah.
You know, so wow.
Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. And Roy did shit also. Another thing we've never seen, or very rarely seen, I should say. Roy would know he has a dude beat and be like, ref, you got to stop this. Would in the middle of a fight would say that, and you know this happened a few times. The ref wouldn't stop it, and Roy would just knock him out. And it was just, you know, it's the shit that a lot of these young guys do today, but they're being cocky. They can't really back it up. A lot of these guys, very few fighters can back up something like that. Like, no, I got this guy. A couple more punches, he's gone. You better stop it. You know what I mean? It was just, it was like watching a fucking legal serial killing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see the likes of Roy again. I don't think we'll ever see the likes of Sugar Ray Robinson again, especially in today's boxing climate. These fighters are not nearly as good as the fighters of yesteryears, the 90s. When you think about the 90s had some great fighters, man. You know, I remember this Mexican fighter. He didn't take boxing seriously, but he would have been a serious contender to Oscar De La Hoya and Trinidad and Mosley. His name was Jose Luis Lopez. He liked to surf and smoke weed, but this guy had it all. And those 90 fighters, they were fantastic, man. Ricardo Lopez, man, I loved all of them, man. And Roy just stood out. Roy was and don't forget, Roy was the fighter of the decade in the 90s.
Sure. And another, for me, during that period, right, and that's funny, that was when I was an amateur. I was a very active amateur at that point. I love watching Roy and another guy who, he's not the greatest pound for pound, but he is.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
All right. Let me see something. Roy.
Yep.
Oh,
Y'all can hear Roy?
we can.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's up, Roy?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have to improvise, but we have the almighty Superman, Captain Hook, Roy Jones Jr. in the building. Salute, Roy. What's good?
I'm good, bro. How y'all doing?
Man,
Doing good,
we
Roy.
out here, man. Blessed, man. I know we was trying to get the StreamYard to work, but you know, technical difficulties, but you know, we improvise out here.
Yeah, it is.
Man, pleasure to have you here, man. So man, I'm just gonna go around the panel right now. We have my brother, we call him the Sensei, Stormy B, man. We got our brother Marco. He does work with Jeremy Williams. You know Jeremy. You know Jeremy Williams, of course.
Yeah, of course.
We got the boxing historian, Kurt Sugar. We call him Kurt Sugar, Curtis Anderson. And of course, we got my brother Anthony Carter, aka Trick Noty, in the building, man. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go straight. You know what? We're gonna go around the panel. I'm gonna go straight to Stormy, man. Let's set it off, man. What's good? You're on mute, Stormy. There you go.
Sorry about that. Salute to you, Roy.
Hey,
Good to have
brother.
you tonight with us, man. Thanks for stopping in with us.
No problem.
Hey, I wanted to say that we're having quite a discussion about you before you come on the air, but I want to ask you a question about being where you were at the time when you were in your prime, right? Was there someone from history that you would say, like, man, if I could have fought this guy, you know what I mean? Because you were definitely the fighter of your generation. And sometimes people seek out challenges. I remember the night that you played a basketball game before you had the fight that night. You were doing things to challenge yourself. And I understood that totally. I coach fighters here out of Chicago. And you actually fought one of the guys that's a friend of mine. Well, a couple of them. You fought Derek Harmon and you fought Montel Griffin. Both guys, I know them very well and came up through the gyms with them. But was there a fighter in history that you would have liked to take on just simply for the challenge? Because you were above your contemporaries.
I would have loved to have fought Sugar Ray Robinson.
Woo!
Oh, that's what's up. Could you elaborate on that? You know, your thoughts about it and everything?
Yeah, he had so many weapons like I had, and he was a crafty guy. He was a veteran. He was very smart. He was slick. He had power in both hands. He had very good foot movement. He had very good head movement. He had very good reflexes. So there's a lot of things that he did that really were like kind of things that I did. So to have somebody else who could duplicate or who could replicate what you do in front of you would be the most challenging matchup of all, because who can outmaneuver who? You understand me? So, I mean, I don't know if he could have threw as many hooks as I threw, but I had to learn from somewhere. So he had to be pretty good at it, you know?
Yeah, that's excellent, man. That's excellent. I'll let someone else ask you some questions. Go ahead, Mark.
We're gonna go to Marco next. Go ahead, Marco.
Hey, what's up, Roy, man? Good to talk to you.
How you doing?
Chilling, man. I'm actually working with Jeremy Williams. You know, he's fighting James Toney.
Nice.
I don't know if you heard about that. They're doing like an exhibition.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be. I think I'm gonna be commentating that. I'm not sure. But
yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, man, why did you never try and snatch up that cruiserweight title? Because you cleaned out everything. What made you just jump over the cruiserweight just to kind of complete all of it?
To be honest with you, bro, what I did, I wasn't trying to complete it all. I really was just looking for history, and I was looking for a challenge. And the cruiserweight division was one of the quiet divisions at that time. I never thought about it. I should have, but I just didn't think about it because the division was so quiet that, like, for me to fight a cruiserweight, nobody knew the cruiserweight champions really no way. So who you gonna be beating a cruiserweight? And I wouldn't think about the whole history thing. I didn't think about that till later on. I was thinking about the history of going after 106 years, a middleweight champion winning the heavyweight title. So that's the history I saw. I never thought about the whole thing, which I think about now, which is what you said. You should go all the way up. I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was just looking for challenges. I would go in there and decide I want to fight for the heavyweight title. So I'm like, okay, who got the belt? Holyfield. I went to Atlanta, asked Holyfield to fight me. He said no. He said he had too much blue and not enough to gain. I said, okay, that's fine. I went back, and then he lost to Ruiz, and Ruiz said, I'll fight you. I said, okay, well, let's get it. But I never even considered the cruiserweight because nobody in the cruiserweight division was there that they thought could beat me. So I wasn't thinking about them. The division was too quiet.
Right.
I wish I would have, because I would have completed the whole top ladder. You feel me?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
So, but I wasn't thinking about that then, because I was the type of guy, I wasn't looking for easy wins. I was looking for challenges. You feel me? So I was a little different. I didn't want to fight because it was an easy win. I wanted to fight because it was a challenge. No middleweight champion won the heavyweight title. Middleweight champion won the cruiserweight title. There wasn't no cruiserweight back when they were trying to do that.
Right.
So that wasn't really the challenge. The challenge was, can a middleweight champ win a heavyweight title to do it? That's what the challenge. So I was after challenges more than I was belts or history at that time. And actually, that was going to be history because we wasn't no super middleweight division back then either. So nobody had won middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. And nobody still never turned pro as a junior middleweight and became heavyweight champion. So those were the two things I was trying to do.
Wow. Before
I
you
know what I knew now, I would have won the cruiserweight title because it would have made more sense. But at the time, I was looking for challenges. I really wasn't trying to do nothing that I thought was easy. I want the hardest challenge I could find, you know?
Right. But, you know, before you came on, we were talking about, you know, I put you as the greatest fighter of all time. For a lot of reasons, you know, I was going to ask you, who do you put, in your opinion, who are your top 3 greatest fighters of all time?
Oh, this is going to be dope. This is going to be dope. Go ahead, Roy.
It's very hard to say, man, because there are so many fighters, and truthfully speaking, I hate to do that sometimes because without so many other fighters ahead of me, I would have never learned what I learned and put it all together and became what I became. So to me, the greatest will always be Muhammad Ali because not what he did inside the ring as much as what he did outside the ring. So I'll never put nobody over Muhammad Ali because that's why I started boxing. You feel me? But when you go after that, you can go so many places, and the only reason I always put myself probably at the top of my own list after Muhammad Ali is because I had Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Wilfred Benitez, Marvin Hagler, all these guys, Salvador Sanchez, Roberto Duran. I had all these guys to go pick out what they did best and put it in my style. So how could I not be the next best pound for pound, probably the greatest best pound for pound of all time? But I'll never put myself and say the greatest of all time always could be Muhammad Ali to me. Because if I didn't see him, I never would have started boxing. So I can't put myself over the great Muhammad Ali, but I must say I took more from more fighters. I spent more hours than probably any other fighter I know in boxing gyms working on styles. I mean, I go all the way back from taking the left liver shot from Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. You hear me? That's how cold I am with it. I got so much I couldn't. If I sit and had to tell you everything I took from every fighter, we'd be on the phone for an hour. So how can I not be the best pound for pound? I don't just know how to shoulder roll. I don't just know how to use the back foot. I don't just know I know how to do it all. Who else I ever seen could do it all? I don't know nobody. I don't know nobody else. Everybody has stuff they did well. Sugar Leonard had stuff he did well, but they didn't have it all. It's hard to pass by the head. But because I had all of them before me, that's what allowed me to be able to go take the best of what they had and make it and put it all together into one person.
Right.
Because it's hard for me to think anybody else that did it. I don't know anybody else that did that.
We were having this conversation before, and some people think that because you were unorthodox, right? But you don't have to be fundamentally sound to be amongst the greatest fighters, because you Prince Nassim, for example, prove that shit. Like, you know what I mean? I think what you did was so much more amazing because you were doing it off script and you would and people just didn't know what to do with you.
Yeah, not only that, you don't see nobody duplicate what I did. They try, it has never been duplicated before. I did things that were original content because of how much I learned in boxing. You feel me? Not only that, when they talk about it, like you got to remember, they always talk about Floyd's defense. Well, to me, Wilfred Benitez was the best defensive fighter I ever seen. But they give it to Floyd. I would give it to Pernell Whitaker because Pernell Whitaker was a defensive assassin who also had an awesome offense. So it's like I hear them, but I don't pay no attention. But the only boxer in CompuBox history to ever go one whole round without getting hit is Roy Jones Jr.
Brutal.
Against Pazienza, I remember.
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean,
but now, and I'm not saying trying to blow my own horn because I don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not blowing my own horn. I'm just saying that I have a hard time with these people because they don't look at the facts. You feel me? Look at the stats right there in front of them. I want a whole, and this wasn't no bum. This was Benny Panel who went from 135 to 168.
Yeah,
that's world champion. You understand me?
Can I say something, Roy? I was me and Jeremy met training. We both were in Kevin Rooney's camp back in the 90s, right? So I remember I was up there. I was with Kevin training with him when you and Vinny scheduled, and I remember looking at Kevin, and Kevin really thought Vinny was going to beat you. Like he wasn't even. And I remember getting in arguments with him, like, Kevin, do not take this fight. It is a bad idea, but he was ride or die with Vinny, but didn't turn out too well for him.
Well, my point was I really didn't want to fight Vinny because Vinny already was coming off of a broke neck, which was sensational.
Yes.
If anyone want to fight the best fighter pound for pound off of a broke neck was saying a whole lot about Vinny anyway. You feel me? I didn't want to fight because I didn't want nothing to happen to him because I knew he was game enough to do it. But I didn't want to be, if something did happen, I didn't want to be the person that something happened to him with. You know what I mean? But they knew that if they got my partner in a kind of title fight and say they were gonna guarantee him a title fight, which they gave him the USBA title that night, I was like, okay, that's the only reason I took the fight. If they weren't for him getting my partner Smoke Gainer at the time a title fight, I wouldn't have took the fight because I was afraid for Bennett more so than Bennett would. Bennett didn't give a care at all because Bennett just want to fight. You don't care. But you know, I knew he had been an accident, and I knew I was a little bit more than what they bargained for. They didn't know it, but I did. Yeah,
I mean, people used to criticize you, which is crazy to me for sometimes being too cautious. And it's like that's one.
Let me say this. Let me say this. I remember, see, Roy, in the 90s, as great as you was, I remember you getting disrespected a lot. Larry Merchant being one of those people. I mean, that guy. I've not liked Larry Merchant for over 3 decades. I'm dead serious, man.
I can't stand that motherfucker.
Man, that guy to your face. To your face. I'm like, what did you have to do? And let me get to the chat. Because Roy, I mean, I wish you could see the chat, man. Roy, man, nothing but support in the chat, man. The people love you, man. My brother, main boxing biker, he said, when I try to get anyone in the boxing, I showed him Roy Jones Jr. highlights. Can't be touched.
Is that correct?
No doubt. My brother BFTB in the building, he said, Roy did it all and also had the power that many others didn't. The speed with the aggression combined with the power makes him one of one. No diggity doubt, man. My other brother, Big Shaq God, he said, they said I never fought nobody. I just make them look like nobody. Y'all must have forgot. Yeah, buddy. And who I miss? My brother Connor Local Sports in the building. He said, can we ask Roy what's next for Kevin Newman? The kid is gifted. Oh,
yeah, he's very gifted. If I can get him to stay out here and get him, he learned the game, but it's a long process because the first time he came here, he didn't understand the game that I was teaching. Now he understands it, so it's a matter of time before he picks up. Last fight he just had out of 30, how or when to do it. Now he's finally got it off from it, so now we can make some progress. So now I'm looking forward to seeing him go and start to become that man in the ring, similar to what I used to be, but he got his own style, so he's gonna be something different. But he got really fast hands. He has a lot of capabilities. It's a matter of us developing his characteristics and getting him right. And I think he's gonna be okay.
No doubt, no doubt. Let's go to the historian, Curtis. What you got for Superman, Captain Hook? What you got for him?
Well, me and Roy, we talked on the phone very briefly last week. Trick Noti hooked that up. I study a lot of historic fights, Roy, and fighters. Like Sugar Ray Robinson is my favorite fighter. I'm going to say this. I was in the audience when you fought Brian Brannon. Right before the fight, I was arguing because he had a contingent of people with him from Trenton. And when I was arguing with his brother, I was arguing with his aunt, I was arguing with his cousin. And Brian Brannon was known, he was 16-0 with 10 knockouts. He was featured on Tuesday Night Fights. And he was featured as a tough guy because he had a reputation on the street. I said, Roy don't care about that.
Nope.
You hit him with a left uppercut, double left hook with the same hand.
Yep.
And my mouth hit the floor. Because I've never seen that. I've been over to 200 professional fights, man. The Blue Horizon, Madison Square Garden, so on and so on. I'm 54 years old. I've been studying boxing since I was 7. I came up in the boxing gyms of Lou Duva. He had a restaurant where all the fighters used to be. There was a fighter named Tony Ayala. He was a clone of Roberto Duran. You had Johnny Buffett and Rocky Lockridge and so on and so on. Absolutely. Absolutely. The fight that I wanted to see in a dream fight with you, because Robinson's best weight was welterweight. To me, your best weight, the 168, I always wondered, did you see you fight Archie Moore and Ezra Charles. That would have been a hell of a fight.
Both
A hell of a fight.
Both of them would have been superb fight because both of those guys were very good. Both of those guys had different type of styles, and I loved both of them. Ezra Charles was a hell of a puncher. Archie Moore was he had that mongoose style. I mean, it was just so many different variants to both of those guys, and I would have loved to have fought either one of them because they were really different guys, and they were puzzles that you had to figure out. And I always loved figuring out puzzles.
And let me say this: I look at knockouts a lot. And I still don't know. I still didn't see the punch you hit Thomas Tate with. God damn. Woo! Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
And he was talking. The brother Frank Tate, he was talking.
Yep.
Roy was moving, and the punch came out of nowhere. And the South African fighter, what's his name? Sugar Boy Malenga.
Yep.
Look at that knockout. Look at that knockout. Yep. But when you hit, I'm getting my food ready. I'm having a big plate of food, right? And Reggie Johnson in the ring. And I said, man, Roy got his hands full tonight. Roy gonna be in for a tough fight tonight. That combination you hit sweet Reggie Johnson with, and I seen him when he beat Steve Collins at the Meadowlands for the title. Yeah. I seen him when he beat the guy from South Carolina, the puncher. I forgot his name. He came down with a disease. I forgot his name. Kid Fire, Lamar Parks. I seen when he put James Toney on the seat of his pants. James Toney won that fight by 1 point. You made Reggie Johnson look like a nobody. Man. That left-right combination, Roy, in split second. I said the fight is over.
What did someone say? I just make them look like nobody.
Yeah. You're right. I don't know. When I started the show, I played your new video, man. I didn't even know you still picking up the mic, man. Let me find out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You don't put down that mic. Let me go back to the chat real quick. My brother Ado says this one's for the handicap. He says, so Roy Mother effing Jones in the building. So Drew, so family. I'm tripping right now, man. I'm telling you, Roy, man, you got so much love and appreciation in here. My brother GD said it'd never be another Roy Jones Jr., only 1 pound for pound.
Yep.
Man, listen. Let me go. Who else in here? My brother Case Nasty, he said, salute Drew Titan, salute panel. Is on point as usual. Much respect to Roy. Who are your favorite commentators to hear in the fight game, past and present? That's a good question.
I used to love, of course, you love to hear Howard Cosell, but I also like to hear Andre Ward a lot. He does a really good job. Tim Bradley don't do bad. I like Andre Ward a lot. And, I actually reached his great program the one not long ago. He did pretty good on one of my shows, Roy Jones Presents. And I'm very interested to see where his career goes because he has a very promising future. I used to like Sugar Ray Leonard too. I used to hear him too. So there are a few commentators I like.
I tend to like former fighters. I think that they tend to be the best analysts. Yep. They're impartial. Salute to my brother Fred in Barbershop Conversations in that super chat. I see you, brother. Much love, appreciation. Go ahead, Stormy. You was gonna say something?
Yeah, Roy, I got a question for you. This is probably one that nobody thought to ask. When you were commentating on HBO, I enjoyed, you being there as a fighter who was in the thick of their career and doing a call. And now HBO no longer covers the sport. But how frustrating, and be sincere with us, how frustrating was it sitting next to those two guys and they stating and making remarks like they did about the fighters? I could recall almost near arguments with, like guys like Bernard Hopkins when he was undisputed middleweight and Larry Merchant going in on him, questioning about who the mandatories are he's fighting.
Glad you brought that up.
Then the situation with Floyd and Larry Merchant telling him, if I was 50 years younger, I'd kick your butt. And then the debacle that happened in Madison Square Garden, not Madison Square Garden, but your fight with Montel, and how Jim Lampley was like edging him on to that you should be disqualified and everything. Yeah. It's like these were supposedly your colleagues, and they were horrible. And I would just like to know, your thoughts and feelings about having to hold your peace, because you know professionally you're doing a job there, but also George Foreman had similar problems. So how was that
Yes.
for you?
Well, to God be the glory, man. To be honest with you, it's like this. God gives those that can accept it. He gives them much. Some guys he gives more than others. He gives you so much, you have to learn to accept that and accept that people gonna hate and be jealous of it. But you can't let that change who you are because God gave you that for a reason. You understand me? So it's like when I hear these guys talk, it only shows me how much more they wish they could have been in my position than the position that they are in. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't be talking about it like they are. You understand me? So it's like that night when I got disqualified, yeah, the people might have been urging them on to disqualify me. But at the same time, Larry Hazard was a black commissioner who fixed it all. You understand me? All his referee had to do was tell me to stop. So truthfully, that was the referee job. It ain't my job to see if he's down or not. My job is to put him down. I ain't hit him with no punch to knock him down. But what is he doing? Is he down? Is he faking? What is he doing? Ref, if you say stop, you gonna call him knockdown. I go to my neutral corner. But if you don't tell me to stop, I'm not gonna stop because I'm not trained to stop. I'm
Right.
trained to go. You understand me? So it's like I hear people all the time talk about stuff, and like I was joking about because he said something about me at the Atlanta City Hall of Fame the other week about the fight, and I was joking back with him about it. But he got a little offended about it, and so did Montel. But Montel called back and apologized. I'll take me back and apologize. It's like I have no hard feelings towards nobody, even the ones that talk against me. I don't worry about that because if I wasn't what I was supposed to be, they wouldn't talk against me. So the fact that they talk against me shows you how much of accomplished what I was supposed to accomplish and some. If they don't hate on you, you ain't doing nothing. So when they hate on you right there in front of you, you know you must have done something right. Or else they wouldn't have no business to hate on you. So that's how I always take it. Because why get mad and go to jail over something stupid when these guys are jealous because where you were, where you got to be, what you did. You understand me? Jealousness pull you down to this. And that's why I always stay left up.
Wow.
Well, let me add to that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm gonna get to you, Ant. I'm glad you brought that up. I remember leading up to the John Ruiz fight where you was making history. I bought the pay-per-view. I sat there and watched, and I was nervous, Roy. I was nervous because you know how they sold the fight. One punch from a heavyweight could end it. And I said, man, he got to catch Roy, man. And the John Ruiz fight, being that you were the smaller guy and you just outclassed John Ruiz. And no disrespect to John, but John Ruiz was a hard fighter to watch. He was grimy, gritty, 1-2 hold, rub his beard on in your forehead. You ain't let him get close to you. Every time Jay Nady broke y'all up, you walked around Jay, you made him take that extra step. You did everything that you needed to do to win that fight, and you fought clean. You hit him. He didn't see half the damn punches coming.
Yep.
Okay, and you hurt him. You hurt him twice in that fight. But the reason why I'm bringing up this fight is round 12. I'm listening to Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant and George Foreman. And Jim Lampley in round 12 says, well, Roy knew who to fight in the heavyweight division. And then George stuck up for you and said, no, don't do that. These people done paid their money to see this fight. Do not discredit him. And that was George Foreman's last time sitting next to those guys. That was his last broadcast. And I said, these mother effers, man. You done boxed this guy's face in for 12 rounds successfully, and they wait till then to do that. And I said, we're going to be down there commentating when they're going to smile on his face, man. That pissed me off, man.
I got something to say.
And one more thing. What they don't realize is, you see Evander Holyfield?
Yeah.
Evander Holyfield is the real deal for real. Evander Holyfield for everybody. It ain't but 2, maybe 3 people are down. John Ruiz was one. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
On 3 people down. Not Mike Tyson, not Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, John Ruiz, I think Burt Cooper might have hurt really bad. You understand me? And Jack Porter might have got him with a pop. But to the head, only 3 people down to hurt him. You understand me? John Ruiz was one of them 3 people. So for them to say that, I really ain't paid no attention because my intent was I wanted Holyfield. Holyfield said no. But when John Ruiz beat him, Yeah, I'll take it. No, I would have took whoever said they were gonna give me that. I wasn't picking it. I didn't care. I just knew that Holyfield was a smaller heavyweight, so I was better have fought somebody close to my size. You understand? That's all I'm looking for. But I didn't care who it was because when I come to get it, I get who got it. Get it. Don't mean nothing about who got it. If you get it and I want it, I'm coming to get it.
Wow.
That's what's up, man. Let me get to these super chats real quick. Pablo Escobar, he wants to know who is Roy's top 5 pound for pound right now that's fighting and at the moment, and his opinion on the PEDs with Canelo Alvarez. And wait, let me get to something else. Somebody else sent something here. We'll get back. We'll get back to that real quick. My brother Picasso's in the house. He said, I remember Roy was about to try MMA. What happened with that? At the time, I was thinking, don't do it. Understand me?
He's bad. He's bad. I never want to try MMA. What I was going to do, I was going to box Anderson Silva, who was an MMA legend. That's what I was trying to do. I was never going to try MMA because I feel like my knees are too bad for that. For the PDs, though, I mean, people make mistakes. You know, everybody makes mistakes. I made a mistake one time and took a real fuel and they showed up bad. And the problem was when they showed up bad, the guy that I fought was 10 times worse than I was on some other stuff, so they didn't say much about it. But after that, I quit taking the real fuel because I didn't realize things you buy at the store could also make you fail the test.
Was that the Eric Hardin fight?
No, that was the Richard Hall fight.
Richard Hall.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that happened one time, but that's the only time that's gonna ever happen because once I realize what it is, I'm not doing it no more because I ain't never trying to cheat. I'm thinking if stuff you buy over the counter, you good. Then they start banning stuff that you buy over the counter. So I realized then you can't do that. So you can't. So one mistake people can make, but if they keep making a mistake over and over and over again, they cheat.
That's right.
Can I ask a question?
So one mistake you can buy because, like I said, anything can happen. And nowadays, stuff you buy at the store will get out of GNC will get you popped. You know, I didn't know that back then. I didn't know nothing about that. You know, so I was like, you know, I didn't think nothing was wrong with it, but it did get you popped. Like I said, all these didn't bother me because dude had 10 times more whatever he had in him than I had in me. So, yeah, so they was like, well, we ain't gonna let that one go, but don't do that no more. And I said, okay, and I never did it again. Never failed another test.
That makes sense. Trick, you was gonna say something? Go ahead. Go ahead, bro. Hold on, I got you on mute.
Nick Carter, man. Hey, how you doing, brother?
Doing good.
Doing good. Man, boy, I got so much stuff I can say, man. We'll be here at about 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we'll be here for a minute. To me, no, Marco, who's about? They bought about the Vinny Pazienza fight, man. The funny thing about that fight is, you go back and y'all watch that fight. It might have been about the 3rd or 4th round, man. You was hitting him with a nice clean jab, and they was somehow you underused jab. And when he went back to the corner, you know, his dad had that. I don't know if he Sicilian, Corsican, whatever. He goes, "You put your tongue back in your mouth, you're gonna get cut." He sounded like one of them old Italian gangsters, man. But that was like that was so funny to me, man. But that you know, like Marco was saying earlier about how people got to set themselves the laying shots. You licked in with a left uppercut, came round with a left hook, hit him with, and just dropped him in the corner. I mean, that was like one of the most prettiest combinations I've ever seen. And then to the Brian Brandon fight, the left uppercut, double left hook. And I'm gonna tell you another fight that people don't talk about either, man. When you fought Percy Harris, them 4 left hooks, man. That fight there, yeah. But I got a question. How is it that you got Chris Eubanks Jr. in the ring to train him, but you couldn't get his dad in the ring to fight him?
Well,
so I think I know the answer because I remember when you did that the fight with Brian Brandon and Tony Page was interviewing you out there before the fight, and you named fighters. You named Frankie Lyles, you named Eubanks, Nigel Benn, and I think the guy Nordiello. I think he was the champion at one point in time, and y'all offered them like 6 or 7 figures, and they all turned it down. But you know, you can elaborate on that.
Yeah. My thing was, I ain't had nothing against nobody, but if you got a belt, I wanted it. You feel me? And back then, those guys, what happened was, and I found this out later on, they were so afraid of James Toney that when I beat, they didn't want to fight me. They were afraid of that. I found it out later on. They thought James was the best thing since sliced bread. You feel me? Then for me to beat James, I beat him. They said, "Oh, we definitely know what to do with him."
Cutting out a little bit, Roy.
And that's like because James had the shoulder roll down to a T, and James was not out behind the shoulder roll. He wasn't just beating him out, pointing him and staying away from him. He was knocking him out. You feel me? And that's when I fought James 44-0. Now I thought he lost to Dave Tiberius, but Dave Tiberius did the six. I thought he beat Rick 1 point, which means that probably could have went anyway, but he still won that fight by decision. So we can say we won a fight, but when I fought the dude was at his prime, he was at the peak of his career, he was everybody. You understand me? Now that upsets me because how can y'all keep telling me the pound better when they're fighting the opposition when the opposition is the best? When you want to see you want to see the Lakers versus the Brooklyn Nets. That's what we want right now before the start. We want to see the Lakers versus the Brooklyn Nets. Why? Because we think them the best team, right? We always want to see the best versus the best. That's what everything's supposed to be. So when I got to be the best, I wanted the best. They said, "Well, the best one we could above it." Well, guess what? I picked that trip up north. I want the best.
Yeah.
Was is that the same? I'm getting right to you, Mark.
Okay.
Why didn't Miklashevsky, remember him?
Yep, we offered him money to come here too, and he wouldn't come over here and fight me. But I was not about to take. I had 7 titles at the time. Any kind of belt that said world champion that was light heavyweight, I had it. I had 7 belts. The only one I didn't have was WBO. And if I go way over there to him, take my 7 belts, go to him, he knows if he goes 12 rounds, he gonna win the decision. I'm not doing that.
That's right.
We offered him $5 million.
Yep.
We offered him $5 million to come over here and fight me on HBO. HBO offered him $5 million. He didn't want to do it. Why he don't want to do it? Because he knows if he go over there, if he go to this.
They were setting you up for failure.
Of course, and I wasn't going for it. I ain't no fool about 97. I was going tonight, but not last night.
Marco, go ahead, bro.
So Roy, me and Jeremy Williams have a podcast, and we interviewed James Toney, and so one thing when you fought James, let me just throw it back. Not only was it a mega fight, but I didn't even realize this. James had almost 2 times the amount of fights you had, so we had way more experience at the time, and you still washed him out. So it didn't even make a difference. So that made that victory all the more impressive. But I was saying, I think we want to get you on our show so you could give Jeremy some tips on how to beat James Toney, because you're the man who knows. What I was going to ask you was this. We spoke with Montel Griffin a couple times, me and Jeremy. And Montel said, of course he's going to say this, that he thought that you hit him on purpose because he was frustrating you. So my question to that is, and I don't think that's my theory, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but I remember before the fight you were being interviewed and you go, what I'm going to do with Montel is I'm going to feint, let him counter, and then I'm going to counter his counter. And
Exactly.
And do you think that made it harder for you? Because in the second fight, you just fuck this shit. You're just going right at him.
Well, it's like the song I made for the Griffin fight, I made a song. If you ever go back and listen, they didn't play it that loud, but the song was called Patient. Because I knew to fight another, I got to be more than him. Montel Griffin was doing a lot of different things in that. My coach kept trying to go to the referee and stick them, and I kept telling him, no, leave him alone. Let him do whatever he's doing. He gonna quit. Leave him alone. Let him go. Don't worry about it. I'm good. Let him do whatever he needs. I want him to be at his best. Please don't say nothing to the referee. Let the referee do what he wants to do. I'm gonna win anyway. He can't take it personally. And that's basically what happened. Now, when he went down on one knee, he already 5'7". The referee, I didn't hit him like that. He just went down. So basically, he was quitting. No, you can't quit on me. No, but if the referee says stop, guess what? I stop. Referee, so hoping the referee gonna say stop, if you gonna call him down. But if you not call him down, I know you down. Because like I said, I ain't trained. I'm trained to go. All the referee had to do was say stop. And I walked to the neutral corner. I ain't gonna do another punch. But the referee ain't say that.
Yep.
So since the referee say that, I'm gonna keep going to the referee tell me something.
Man,
Go ahead, Stormy.
one of the most.
You gonna say something?
Yeah, I just want to pay a compliment to Roy too, because watching these guys today and the attire they come to the ring in and everything, dude. When you came out to fight James Toney, that tux look, man. That was out of sight, man. I was like, the brother that's coming out under the lights tonight. He got his tux on and everything. That was cold blooded, man.
You know what my favorite was?
After that, you started wearing different types of robes and stuff to the ring that was really trend setting. And I'm like, man, you know what? But it was classy and it was your own thing. Did you have a particular designer, or was that something that you thought of each and every time that you were going to come out? But that James Toney tux, man, that was nice.
I always kind of think different things, and that who started me on that was, once again, like I said, I took a lot from a lot of fighters. I took my dress idea from Hector Camacho. Hector Camacho started wearing different outfits, so I started saying, he can do that. I took sewing in high school. I had a high school to make anything. So I asked her like a tuxedo robe. She said, yeah. I said, okay, one day I'm gonna need it. So when I got to the fight, this coming out party, for my tuxedo robe. So she made, her name was Doris Law.
Wow. Well, you know what my favorite is? Radio City, David Telesco. You came out with Method Man and Redman.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
That's your favorite, right? That was my favorite.
That's my favorite.
Our favorite.
Yeah. That's my favorite. Yo, let me get to this chat real quick. My brother Main Boxing Biker says, Roy, do you think Casemiro should have been DQ'd for hitting Rigo 3 times while Rigo was down? They took your undefeated record for only 1 hit against Montel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, why they want, if you're going to disqualify one, disqualify everybody. You know? But like I said, what was funny to me was, if you go back and look, Riddick Bowe hit Jesse Ferguson twice while he was down in Atlantic City. Mm-hmm. I think it was Jesse Ferguson or in DC, he hit him twice anyway, and they didn't disqualify him. Matter of fact, it was in Atlantic City. Then Benny Pazin hit Dana Rosenblatt twice when he was down, and hit the record, and they didn't disqualify him either.
Yeah, he did. You see.
My turn came, and I got an undefeated record, and I already got gypped in the Olympics. They disqualified me. Oh. Now, Rock Newman was doing the car in Atlantic City, and he was cool with all them. So Riddick Bowe didn't disqualify. They just turned the lights out and called it no decision. Then Rosenblatt got hit down while he was down, and Benny hit the referee. They didn't disqualify Benny Pazin, who already had losses on his record. But when they got my oath, I got a perfect oath. They get out to take it. They take it.
And that was strange to me, because at that time, you was the bread and butter in HBO.
That was strange to everybody. Why would you do that to a dude that already got right? And like I said, all the referee had to do was say stop. I understand. Stop, box, and what was it? Break, stop, box. All it is. I understand. If you just say break, stop, and I'm gonna stop. But it's your job to stop me. You the one that's in command. We supposed to pay attention to your commands. I ain't supposed to look at him if he down, if I hit him and knock him down. Now, if I hit him, he went down, I know he's probably down because I'm a pretty devastating puncher. But if I don't hit him and he go down, I don't call him. You stay down, you gotta stay down.
I think
go punch. He just kneel down. So
I want to say something, Drew.
Are you quitting?
I want to say something, Drew.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Let me go out to Kurt.
Roy, you don't have to say nothing, but this, I've been looking at HBO since the first George Foreman and Joe Frazier fight. They've been on since '73. I never liked. I liked the commentating in the early '80s. I forgot the guy's name. He does what's his name with look like it sounded like he got a cold. But anyway, when they hired Jim Lampley and Kellerman and Larry Merchant used to be a writer in Philadelphia. And I'm gonna say this. You don't have to comment, Roy. I'm gonna say this. They had a plan. They had a plan to promote Eastern European fighters, Gennady Golovkin and Vasyl Lomachenko, even though they left. They turned their backs on the American fighter. They criticized you, Bernard, Purnell, Floyd. So I knew something was going on when Mike Tyson fought Tony Tubbs, and people could look at it. When Tony Tubbs was coming in the ring, Larry Merchant called him a great fat whale. So disrespectful.
He's a jerk.
Yep.
And
Sure, man.
see, but the trick was on HBO because when they lost Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather, two of the most polarizing figures in boxing history, they wanted to promote Gennady Golovkin, but the white American boxing fans said, nah, they're not one of us. We don't really feel them like that. We don't care about Eastern European fighters because it didn't work out. They criticize you guys for like being cautious, but when Vasyl Lomachenko boxes, it's artistic. When Willie Pep did it, it was artistic. But when Roy did it and Floyd did it, and you know, it was boring. So it was the double standard. So HBO went under when they lost Floyd Mayweather. What you got to say about that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's dead truth. That's the dead truth. And I can promise you one thing: they said they want to say Roy Jones Jr. wasn't never boring.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Never.
So they said, I don't care if I fought somebody. I don't care if I fought somebody's mama. It wasn't gonna be boring.
Go ahead, Trick.
And Roy, let me say this, man. I appreciate you, man, the time that you stood up for fighters, man, because I remember when Kenny the McKinney was fighting Marco Antonio Barrera, not Larry Merchant, but I'm sorry, you had to check Larry Merchant a couple of times on that broadcast. And also when Chris Bird lost to Ike Abuchi, you could hear Jim Lampley hollering about, man, how Ike Abuchi would blow Evander Holyfield away, and you put your hand up and stopped him right in his tracks. And I salute you on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Larry Merchant was do you remember when he was when he was calling the Tavares Cloud fight and Tavares got that cut on his eye? And they say, well, you know, the blood might be flowing in his eye, you know, and he's like, yeah, you know, he could bleed later. Just end the fight. Now Tavares got the stoppage, but I'm listening to this guy, and I'm like, you know what? This is the guy. If he was a trainer, he'd get every last one of his fighters killed.
Yeah, exactly right. But like you said, it's double standard for us. You feel me? They hold us to a double standard and they hold everybody else and it's wrong. But this whole country been that way for the longest time now. So it's like, I mean, people was turning their back to it then. Now they starting to see that's really what was happening. But everybody did was always double standard towards the black athlete. We already knew that. So to go out and act ignorant with them would be more detrimental to us as black athletes than to just be able to do it the way I do it, which is with my mindset. So I take a sophisticated mind approach to it and beat them up with these words. You feel me? And I don't deal with them the way they want me to deal with. They want me to go off and cuss and act ignorant, but I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm going to tell you how many times y'all fought. What do y'all know about being in the 12th round? What do y'all know about being in the 9th round? What do y'all know about getting knocked down and getting back up?
That's right.
Y'all know how it feels to get cut? No, you don't. So don't tell me about how I feel because I've been there and did that. Have y'all? No. And that's what my argument always is, to put them back in their place. You know, so that's what I heard about commentating.
To this day, I don't understand how the hell Gennady Golovkin came over here and got an Apple deal. I don't know how that happened.
Because they tried to promote him, and it didn't work out. The American fans didn't take to him like they thought. They tried everything. And the announcer I was thinking about when HBO in his prime was Barry Tompkins. He was a great announcer because he was not biased like Larry Merchant. And Larry Merchant, when Joe Frazier died, he was sprouting those fake tears. I said, man, get out of here, man.
Yeah. Hey, let me go real quick. Roy, I got a question, man. You know, I talked to a lot of fighters, man. This is what I heard. I don't know how true it is, but I want to get this from you. I heard that when you fought James Toney, was it 90? It was 94, matter of fact. And on the what's the guy's name? Oscar De La Hoya fought a cat named Carl Griffin. Well, is it true that Bob Arum wanted to make you and James Toney the co-main event and make Oscar De La Hoya the main event because he was the came out of the Olympics with the gold medal? Is any truth to that?
No, because he was a Latino. That's why. It ain't because he had a gold medal. Because he's a Latino. Now let me tell you how God works, sir. And I'm about to cut it short a little bit after this. Let me tell you how God works. Okay. I was IBF middleweight champion. I fought in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, which is almost my backyard. That's like a 3-hour drive. It's a 2.5-hour drive from my house. You understand me? I fought as middleweight champion against the guy he just mentioned, Sugar Boy Malinga, in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. And do you realize that Barbara made me the co-main event and made Oscar De La Hoya the main event? So on that, when they asked me to fight James Toney, my lawyers, who were also Jews, told me to take a flat guarantee of $2 million and fight James Toney and re-sign with Bob Arum, and I would have a guarantee of a $250,000 return fight if I lost. I told him if they want to put their son in there for that, he can sign the deal, but I'm not doing it. I'm not messing with Barbarian no more. I'm through with Barbarian. I said, so I'll fight James Toney. I'll fight him at a 45-55 because he's the man at that division. He's the champ at 168. I'm going to his weight class. He take 55%. I take 45%, and we fight, and we pound for pound find who the best. And I want to be free to make my own deal with HBO after that because I don't like how Barbarian treat me. He'll have me on the undercard of De La Hoya somewhere again, and I'm not doing that no more. You understand me? And that's why I took and put all the marbles on the table and rolled the dice for myself and won the thing by the grace of God. You hear me? So he was trying. He did that to me one time, but that's all I need to be done with one time. And you will never get a chance to put me on the undercard of Oscar De La Hoya again. And that's what happened.
Damn.
And that's why these boys nowadays, they talk, but they're not standing up for themselves. Because there's no way the boxing world shouldn't be getting an Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford fight right now. People think I hate Earl Spence. I don't hate Earl Spence. I think Earl's a good damn fighter. I just want to see him and Terrence Crawford fight. Of course, I've seen more of Terrence Crawford's fights than I saw Earl Spence because I was commentating on HBO. I seen the rising of Terrence Crawford. I seen when he beat the first dude, Brady Prescott, who he wasn't even supposed to fight. And he beat him. So, of course, I've seen a lot more from him than I saw of Earl Spence. But that don't mean I don't think Earl got a chance. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I just seen more out of Crawford than I saw out of Earl because I was commentating on HBO where he was fighting it. People take that and say, oh, Earl don't like Earl. I don't think Earl got a chance. That's not true. Y'all take my words and turn the wrong way. I'm just saying, first of all, both of them need to be in front of each other right now. Why we playing? Why y'all not fighting? Y'all the best two welterweights out there. What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna let the little English boy come up, get enough heat, and he gonna end up taking over the division. Because that little dude can fight too.
Yeah, that boy can fight.
That little dude can fight too. But y'all supposed to bend, put all the other stuff out the way, tell y'all promoter either y'all gonna make this fight happen or y'all gonna let me go. You understand? You gotta stay your ground at some point. I stood my ground against my own people. I said, I'm not fighting him for no guarantee. I don't want nothing else to do with Barbarian. I don't want number. If I don't give a $600, I don't care because I'm finna win. I ain't fighting for the money. I'm finna become pound for pound the best. I'm finna beat the best fighter fighting. That's what I'm finna do. What y'all talking about, I don't want to hear about that. I don't want no insurance if I lose. If I lose, I'm going rock bottom. That's what I'm willing to do. That's how much I believe I'm better than him.
I think
and that's
Floyd,
what I did. That's how I became a free man.
I think Floyd Mayweather started kind of the trend when he should have fought Pacquiao in like 05 or whatever it was. And then they both started, I think, going back and forth with the ego. I'm the A side, and they never fought. But when you go back to people cut from your cloth, Roy, you wanted to prove you were better because you knew that after you beat this dude, you will be the A side. So it's okay. You know what I mean? And I wish more fighters were like that now. But like you said, they're not.
Go ahead, Stormy. Real quick.
Yeah. And Roy, since we cooking now, we got you riled up. That's good because we can keep the fire going and put some more logs on the fire. This right here, I got a question for you. How do you feel or view what has transpired in the heavyweight division with Deontay Wilder, our heavyweight champion who reigned for 5 years and 10 title defenses, to see such a well of anti-American support, which really comes down to, I'm just going to say it plainly, it's anti-black support, because Wilder was the type of fighter, regardless of whether you like his style or not, he was successful. He brought what people soured on Mayweather about, right? They said, oh, he don't knock people out. Well, Wilder was knocking everybody out. And the thing is, the man, his story is the stuff of books, okay? The reason he got into the sport and everything. And he was so successful, not on anybody's police blotter, no drama and stuff like that. You don't hear about the brother until he comes to fight. And then when this situation with Fury unfolded, you could see the sentiment against him. And even in the aftermath where they had a contractually obligated third match, you got people coming out saying, well, he should just go do something else and let Fury go ahead and fight other people and this and that. How do you feel being a guy who represented in the Olympics and everything like you did, Wilder did too, And you're looking at this and you're seeing the contemporary fighter, black fighter, being subjugated in a manner is being disrespectful. I did a video where I called it Welcome to Black Murderers Row 2021. And it's a hell of a video. I would like you to check it out. It's on my channel. My channel's called Stormy B Man. And you can go on there and punch that video up. It's something that needs to be spoken about. I'd like to know your thoughts on that.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I really can't get a lot of thoughts on that. I'll tell you why. Deontay Wilder disrespected me to the utmost at one point in my career, and I don't really have no good word to say towards Deontay Wilder, and I don't really care for the dude like that. I'm sorry that it happened to him, and I just don't really, I rather not speak on it because the way he disrespected, the words he used towards me for a person that was working with him and me, I don't do that. You feel me? So whatever happened to him,
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware of that at all.
I'm sorry for him. I hold no grudge against him, but I'm not going to speak on it because I'm not going to say the right things. You feel me?
Okay. Well, can we exclude Wilder from that because we're still talking about a lot of the black fighters today that are being avoided? And, you know, you can go through those divisions. We got young ones from like Devin Haney and Gary Russell Jr. on up through the divisions, you know, and these fighters are being denied the opportunity at legacy. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts about that?
What you're saying is a bitch. You're 100% right. To stick, listen, let me give you an example. And I like all the dudes because the dudes are nice fighters, but it's the fact of how the American public try to take them and make them more than they really are. I turned pro as a dream middleweight. You feel me? When I got the middleweight title, my first thing was who the best around here? James. Well, I need to see him. I immediately started looking at where the next best argument at. That's where I got to go. You feel me? But now HBO doing all this pushing on Triple G, but Triple G sat there for 5 years, one weight as under, pound for pound, arguably the best fighter at the time when Floyd was retired, which was Andre Ward, and he still to this day didn't go up there and try to take that. But y'all already ready to give them all the accolades of the greatest middleweight ever, and all the title defenses and all this and all that. But they sit right there with a bear, one weight class above them, and they don't see that bear. You understand me? But y'all pushing it like it's the best thing since sliced bread. Well, that's the same thing we've been going through the country for years, and we're still going through it. And that's why I'm saying I understand. Like I said, how do you feel? But y'all can't let them affect the way that we approach boxing. You understand me? So, like for me with Wilder, one thing I would say about Wilder is I understand what you're saying about the suit and all that, but brother, you're supposed to do all that before you go in the ring. You're a professional. You feel me? You can't blame a suit for losing. You just gotta go back and get that back. Let that go and let's go back and get that back. You don't blame it as long as that make it look bad. You feel me? Because you know what you're coming out in. I don't. It's like if I would play the basketball game that I played and lost that fight, guess what? I should have got my ass whooped if I didn't know before I went out there and did it that I could do that. But I do this every day, so I
cutting
ain't gonna be because of the basketball game. That dude just would have beat me. And I gotta come back without a basketball game and get him back. Because obviously I couldn't do the basketball game and beat him like I thought I could. So now I gotta put that basketball game down and come back and get in the business. You feel me? That's how Roy Jones see you doing things. You don't go make excuses about something that you did to yourself. You gotta man up and take that and keep it moving. You feel me? Hey, I lost 25 pounds a month. I came and beat through the first time. Second time, dude caught me. No, but I was a different person. And so I had to take that lick. I'm not saying, oh, if I would have lost 25 pounds, no, he caught with a good shot that night. He might have had his eye closed, but he still landed. Yeah. I'm just saying, though, he landed a good shot. That counts in boxing. I'm going to say, oh, he didn't hit me, or I shouldn't have. No. I probably should have took the time off, but I didn't. So what happened. That's that. You feel me? So it's like, as a man, you got to be responsible. As a black man, you got to know that they push us. We are the second grade. First grade, they're relative. Yes. Or everybody gonna come for us, just like everything else. How many of us in the penitentiary filled up with us? This is how this country does us. We all know this. It don't change boxing. It's like that in there. You feel me? So because boxing is everything. What we have to do is we have to learn how to be smarter about it and know how to go make the best decisions and know how to take our careers in our own hands so that we can make the correct fights like Floyd did and make the right money the way we got to make it if we want to do that. You feel me? So if you want to be pound the best, you can do that, but figure out how to get it done your way, not their way. See, Floyd didn't care about that money, so he put Pacquiao fight so he can make the most to do, and then that's his prerogative to do that because he can run it how he want to run it when he's in charge. Now, it's not going to work out that way for most of them, so they got to go another route. Me, I want every belt I can get my hand. If it said world title my way, I don't give a damn what came before it. Whether you put number before it, explanation marks before it, Roman number before. If it said any heavyweight champ, I want it. That's what I would.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Like
I know, you know, y'all already know. I hear you, Roy. Much love and appreciation to you. You know, I have a little different, a big perspective on that because I actually talked to the Wilder camp. But you know, that's your opinion. That's your opinion, and that's cool. And there's merit to what you're saying as far as saying being smarter. So whenever something happens to you as a professional, you got to re-enter the world wiser. You got to learn from your mistakes. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that much I agree with. I could just hear the trolls running to do a video on what you just said, Roy, and this is beautiful. I'm actually glad you're speaking. Y'all already know. Let me get to this real quick. There's so many questions in the chat, and I know, Roy, you pressed for time. Junior Syriac says, can you explain what happened in the amateur fight with Gerald McClellan? And what do you think would have happened if you guys fought in the pros? And he said, Florida in the building, they must have forgot.
Like that. In the Golden Gloves, we had a very good fight. I thought he won round one. I thought I won round two and round three. And but they called us split decision, gave him. But like I said, to me, Jared, and don't get it wrong, Jared was a good fighter, and I do think the fight probably could have gone either way. I truly thought I got the best of it. I heard he was even passing out in the hallways that night after the fight. But the thing to me was, I knew that they knew that Jared couldn't beat Ray McElroy, and the Olympic trials were in California. Ray McElroy was from Concord, California. I beat Ray McElroy the year before in the finals of the National Golden Glove. They know if they get beaten out over Gerald, Ray McElroy ain't gonna make it to the Olympic trial because I'm finna beat him in the finals again. So they gave it to Gerald because they know Gerald can't beat Ray McElroy. And Gerald, once again, he lost to Ray McElroy. Ray McElroy, being from Concord, California now, was in the Olympic trials. Well, guess who beat him up in the Olympic trials again? Roy Jones Jr. Because they knew I beat him before I read it. So that's how that went. But it was a good fight. And like I said, I thought the fight could have went with. I still thought I edged it out. But, you know, I'm not a crybaby. I take my lick, you know, and that's what it was. In the pros, it would have been a good fight because Gerald was a really exceptional puncher. He had a very good right hand. I sparred with him again after that at Ray Leonard's gym, and it was pretty good. I got the best, of course, but you know, Gerald was a great fight.
No diggity doubt. Last question from the chat. They want to know, what do you think? My brother Daryl Alexander, he says, what do you think about Eddie Reynoso and the controversy surrounding his camp at the moment?
It's tough, man. I mean, you just never can tell. It's hard when more than one source of the same thing happen because now people start accusing you of cheating. Like I said, one time it's cool, but it would come 2 times from the same camp and start to look a little suspicious. And that's the only thing. And like I said, it's hard to blame Eddie Reynoso when Valdez because he can't control everything that Valdez puts in his body, but I mean, you just never know. So it's hard to say. It's a bad situation for all of them because it is the sport of boxing, which you love the most. I just hope they get it cleaned up and get everything straight.
Definitely, man. Well, Roy, man, you know, we could talk to you all night, man. But I know you got to go, man. Much love and appreciation, man. Roy, you, in my opinion, you're an all-time great. No exceptions. No exceptions to the rule. I was in my living room throwing punches in the air when they gypped you in the Olympics. Yeah, that's how far back I roll with you.
Right.
You know, I was pissed. We ran outside the building like, what? We were pissed.
Yeah.
So we've been rolling with you since then.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Let me just say this, man. I love boxing. I support boxing. I had a lot of fun in my life, and I tried best with this sport, and it became my tools to the world to show the world how good God can be to you if you just trust and believe. You feel me? With that being said, man, thank you to everybody that ever followed me, everybody that ever watched me. I have nobody. I'm no fighter. I have meant to offend anybody, even with Wilder. Hate on me like he did. Hate him, don't wish nothing bad on him. I just don't want to say much about it because I want my feelings to get involved. And, you know, it's just, life is life. You know? So I wish I could have kept the guy more. I hate he had to be the way he was about me, but that happens. Like, everybody not going to love you. They hate Jesus Christ. So, like, that being said, I love everything. I enjoyed my career. No, nothing that I hate I didn't do, nothing that I'm ashamed of. I have nothing that I have to say I wish I could have did this way. Nope, I did everything the way I wanted to do it. I enjoyed my career. I tried my best to entertain y'all to the best of my ability every time y'all watch me. And from this point forward, I still will always do my best to entertain everybody, whether you're watching, whether you're listening to me, or whether you go out there and pick up that body head banger, volume, whatever y'all do, go get that body head banger. Volume 2, it's the truth. Y'all must forgot part 2 is out now. Go get that too, and y'all rock it by the head, all right?
No doubt, fam. I'm gonna play it on the way out again, man.
There it is.
No doubt, bro. Much love and appreciation, man. We love you, Roy. Salute.
Peace and love, brother.
Peace.
Peace out,
Peace
Roy.
Peace, Roy. Appreciate you, bro. Hit you up.
All right, man. That was dope, man. That was dope. All right. Because I know. We all right. Let's talk about it on the way out. You got about another 10 minutes. I know. Let me say this. I knew that they had a bit of a thing. I'm talking about Bomb Squad and Roy. They had something going on. I knew that.
What did Wilder say? Do you know?
I didn't know that, Drew. And if I did know that, I would not have brought Wilder's name into it,
cool.
but I would have just talked about the Black Murderers Row.
No, it's cool. It's cool because now the trolls are gonna run. They're making videos right now off of this. They're making, and that's cool. That's cool. But as long as we know that it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing, and that's cool. We speak to the camp, so we know the facts surrounding it. But they have friction because of something that was said amongst themselves. That's for them brothers to work out. But Roy's just another professional that's on the other side of things. But it's something else. It's something else going on with them. And I knew that. I knew that. That's why I let him speak his piece, and that's cool. I have zero beef with Roy. I'm a supporter. I've always been a supporter of Roy. Always. All right. That's just like, with these channels. You might be cool with a channel, and the channel could be cool with another channel that you're not cool with. That ain't got nothing to do with the channel. You understand what I'm saying? So that's fine. That's fine. I know these cats is running. See the brother BFTB is there right now. That's perfect. That was personal beef that men have with each other, and that's what it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. What was said to them is what they said to each other. None of our business. It's none of our business. We know what we saw. We talk about it habitually. I'm probably going to be talking about it 40 times all the way up until October 9th. I'll be in Vegas. Come say hello. It is what it is. It is what it is. But, man, shout out to Roy, man. I was watching that Olympics. Man, they did him dirty. And a loss could make or break you. And that right there was the birth of Roy Jones Jr. because he went on a tear. After that Olympics, he went on a tear. And I never knew exactly what happened with Mick Leshevsky. I can't even look him up on BoxRec because I don't even know how to spell his fucking name. I don't know how to spell his name. But man,
I gotta jump off, so I don't want to be rude.
All right, no doubt. No, we gonna talk, brother.
Yeah, we'll talk. This was fucking one of the dopest things I've ever done. I appreciate all you guys.
No doubt, man. Follow him, Marco Champa the Chump. Follow him on Instagram. Follow him on YouTube. And we're looking forward to James Toney versus Jeremy Williams.
Word up. All right, fellas. Peace out.
All right, brother.
All right, Marco.
Yeah, so like I said, I know the videos are coming. They're making them right now. They're making him right now. But whatever. It's not, to me, it's not that serious. That's not the only pro that has a particular stance on it, man. We got love for Roy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that what was that? That was the 88 Olympics, right? When they did that to him. 88 Olympics, and he went on a tear for the better part of 2 decades after that, man. And that's just what it is, man. So any last words, Kurt? What you got on that?
I just want to say, man, you know, the interview was dope. I could have asked him a million questions. I followed his career, and when he lost and then he beat Frankie Lyles, which was a rivalry in the amateurs. And Roy, you know, as a pro, been at his fights, man, supported him. The knockouts were tremendous. The knockout, the body shot that he hit Glenn Wolf with, oh my God, and turned him around. Woo! You know, man, they mind-blowing knockouts, man. It was a great interview, man. Fighter of the decade in the 90s. You know, what can I say? It was a great show. I could ask him a million questions.
I forgot to ask him about he put his hands behind his back. What was that? Clinton Woods? Was that Clinton Woods? He did that too?
I think that was Wayne Kelly.
It was Glenn Kelly. It was Glenn Kelly.
Australia.
Glenn Kelly.
Yeah.
Glenn Kelly, yeah.
He put the hands behind his back and got the knockout with that. That was crazy. I've never seen nothing like that, man. Roy was a special fighter, man. Roy was a special fighter. What you got?
He's one of the very few fighters that can beat Sugar Ray Robinson. That's saying a lot.
Yeah. What you got on that, Trick?
Hey man, like I'm in Kurt's corner, man. I could have asked Roy so many questions, man, because you know, watching his fights, you know, I used to always you know, go back and look at what he did, you know, even listen to the commentary, you know, when he was fighting on Tuesday Night Fights. There was a fighter named Daniel Garcia, heavy-handed guy. And I think he went 12 rounds, or he went close to 12 rounds with James Toney. I think James Toney did stop him, but I think Toney stopped him to the body, but he couldn't hurt him to the head. And Roy leaped in with a left hook and knocked him out on the ropes. I mean, that fight, oh man, just watching this fight. So like I said, if you do like a top 10, you do your top 10 knockouts out all time, Roy gonna at least have about 3 of them in there, man. You know, when he hit Art Serrano and he was laying on the ground doing this. No, y'all remember that knockout?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was scary.
Good.
That was scary.
Man, the Glenn Kelly knockout, the Brian Brandon knockout. And one thing I wanted to ask Roy was, man, what did you say to the referee when he was fighting Brian Brandon? He jumped back and he said something to the referee, and the referee said something. Roy was like, okay. And he jumped in and gave a 4-punch combination and got him out of there. But hey, man, man, it was dope. Get him on here, man. Hey, everybody in the chat, man. I worked hard to get that interview, man.
Yes,
y'all
man. Man. Show Trick some love, man. Whenever you see it, I tell y'all all the time. Whenever you see it gets up here, that's Trick Notes. He putting in work, man. He got his boots on the ground, man. Show the brother some love, man.
I worked hard, man, because you ain't seen Roy on none of these platforms. If you have, let me know what channel he was on. I ain't seen him.
You should let Trick put his Cash App in the link.
It's there scrolling on the bottom. It's there.
Yeah, and one more thing too. Y'all heard me ask him about Bob Arum trying to put him on the undercard, Asa De La Hoya and Carl Griffin. What'd he say? Somebody said, when I find out it's true, so we're trying to do it rather. So
ain't that crazy?
James Toney and Roy Jones on the undercard, and Oscar had like 14, 15 fights. He tried to put him on the undercard. Come on, Bob Arum.
Come on, Bob. See, he doesn't. You see value. He doesn't dude. Can we say he don't value the black fighter? Can we say that?
Yeah,
we can say that now. Yep. Why is Bud and Porter going to a purse bid? Just pay for it, man.
Yeah,
I could have bought a house in Beverly Hills, but Lomachenko's better than Muhammad Ali. What? I lost money. You ain't lose money with Tyson Fury? Stop, man. Stop.
Yeah.
Stormy, what you got on that before we get out of here, brother?
Hey, man, it was a great opportunity having Roy grace us with his presence on tonight's show. Salute to Trick Nolte for doing the hard work there, man, and making these opportunities like this possible. I kind of feel a little bad that I didn't know about that thing with Wilder, because I could have phrased my question a different way, because we didn't get the answer out of him that we needed for, his thoughts about, what's happening to these fighters. And And that's the only thing that I take away that I feel a little down about, because had I known, I could have phrased my question quite differently. And you, as you've seen, it's like my questions were definitely from a different vantage point. It was like,
Right.
you know, because we've seen him fight, we've seen him look great, we've seen the scintillating highlight reels and this and that. But the questions that I pose to fighters like Roy and others that we've had on, like Virgil Hill, Corey Spinks, if you notice,
What it
I
say?
try to get them to be more revealing about who they are and what their take is, you know, having been a professional fighter, because professional fighters don't think like we think, because these men take punches for a living. You understand? And that takes a certain type of psychology, a mental position. So it's very important that people know that,
What it say to it?
No,
you know. So yeah, great show, man. It would be great to get him back down the line in the future, but I'm very proud to be a part of that. And again, hats off to Trick Nolte. And again, like they said, you know, please hit Trick Nolte up in that Cash App, man, and show the brother some love, because he's really doing a great thing.
That's right.
And I'm going to have Trick Nolte on my channel coming up next weekend, where we're going to do a show together. And it's really giving back to him, because I told him I wanted to do something with him because of what he's done for us out here. So just be looking out for that. I'll be putting a reminder up as the week goes on, and you'll know that this coming Saturday, we're going to have something with Trick Nolte on Stormy B-Man channel.
No doubt, Stormy. And, you know, I'm reading Reggie Owens' comment, and I agree with him, you know. And again, you know, a lot of the trolls, all we did was give him ammunition. You don't need to feel bad about asking a question. And that's what makes these interviews pure. That's what makes it pure. It's not unfiltered. I could have told y'all that they had a personal beef. I knew that. And I knew there was a 99% chance that Wilder would come up. And I knew that if he hears his name, I'm not gonna say go left, because the show didn't go left. You heard truth. I'm the truth, right? I'm not hiding nothing. All right. They obviously have a personal issue. That's for them to work out. But it doesn't negate the fact that we have a side. Now, he has an opinion on it, as do a lot of people. Marco has an opinion on it that was just here. Roy has an opinion on it. We have our opinion on it. And facts support what we see. All right? And that's just what it is. So I know the trolls are running around saying, oh, Roy don't like Wilder. There's going to be 400 videos. They're being made right now. Just know where they got the content from. They're going to be taking the audio from it. And I'm telling you, it's fine. Because what do I always tell y'all? Time reveals all truth. And a lie is nothing but the long way to the truth. Regardless of how you feel, we know what we saw. We know what we saw. Now, I don't know what was said between Deontay and Roy, but he said, he made it perfectly clear they had something else going on. So that dictates what he personally feels, along with what he knows from the media, because he hasn't spoken to Deontay about what happened. All he knows is what ESPN says, and based off of what he knows as a professional, what to look out for, he's basing it off of that. And on top of that, he has a personal issue with them. So, for example, if I have a personal issue with Reggie Owens, right, and we're in the same profession, but I have a personal issue, what am I going to say? Yeah, well, that happened, but he should know better. He should know better. He should know better than to say that on his channel, because he know he's going to get that strike. He should know better. Not knowing the facts, though. You understand? So am I going to go out on a limb to defend him? No, because I have a personal issue with him. So that's all that was. So go ahead and make your videos. Go ahead and amplify something that doesn't even exist, because it don't exist. All right? October 9th is still coming. So it don't matter. So I'm sure we all love Roy, and I'm sure Roy inherited a few fans that he never knew he would have in a lifetime right now. Rick Glass is probably saying, thank you, Roy Jones, right now. Right now. You understand? So this is why I do
Hey,
this
Trick
thing.
Noty, shouldn't you be doing that with your camera off?
And as expected,
Oh man, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man.
Salute to Pac-Man Tay in the building. He said D said Roy ain't got shit on him. That's Tay Jones. You see? He bro. I always tell y'all, remember who I talked to. I knew there was something going on. That wasn't for me to say. So that's what I'm saying. This is a genuine show. I'm not going to tell anyone not to say something. If you have something to say, go ahead and get it off your chest. You don't have to be. You could be a Fury fan and come on here and speak up for Fury. I don't care. When I told y'all I had a debate with somebody over the Wilder Fury situation, y'all will never, man. At the gym, I'm not even gonna say who it is, but I've had full-blown debates about this, and the bottom line is they don't know what I know. So try explain to someone how to fly a plane, and they've never flown a plane before, but they're gonna get mad at someone that crashes a plane. You wasn't in the cockpit, motherfucker. You don't even know how to fly a plane. Why you mad at the pilot? You don't know what went on in there. You dig what I'm saying? So go ahead and do your videos. You know what I'm saying? Have fun with it. Means nothing. October 9th is still coming. It means nothing. But be clear. Roy, what he said, it doesn't take away from how his career went. We all followed Roy. We all loved Roy. You understand? We still got love for him. All right? And like I said, I've been supporting him since 1988 in Seoul, Korea. For general principle. Okay? Whatever else he got going on between him and D, that ain't none of our business. Because October 9th is still coming.
Hey,
go ahead.
Hey, Drew, let me say this real quick. Let me say this quick. You know, it's funny you mentioned the situation going on between him and Wilder, or they got the little beef. But did y'all know that Roy Jones and Lennox Lewis had a beef also? It was when Roy Jones wanted to go for the heavyweight title, and they were saying that Roy would possibly beat Lennox Lewis, and Lennox Lewis made some comments about Roy, and Roy was say if he was a certain size, he go looking for Lennox Lewis. So that's kind of what it seems with me.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're professionals. They're fighters. Roy's a former fighter. Deontay's fighting now. There's always going to be a competitive nature. I mean, I watched Isaiah Thomas get fouled and get up and push Magic Johnson. Like they didn't kiss each other on the cheek before the game. They're the best of friends. But on that floor, what was it? It was Detroit versus the Lakers.
Exactly.
All right? And that was straight beef. Okay, Michael Jordan used to go out to dinner with Charles Oakley. But when the Bulls played the Knicks, it was a bloodbath.
Yep.
They're professionals. It doesn't negate the fact that we see what we see. So, I can't wait to see the videos. I can't wait to check my DMs. Yo, Trick Noty, man, you assist in history, brother. The Bob Arum news, man. Y'all don't know how key that is, man. Y'all don't know. Y'all will never know how key that is.
Yeah, I've been wanting. I always said I was the one to ask him that because, like I said, we talked to fighters, and a certain fighter I talked to had told me that he said that Bob Arum wanted to put Roy Jones and James Toney on the undercard of Carl Griffith versus Oscar De La Hoya, because then when the Olympic gold medalists come out or whatever, they tend to to try to beef him up and give him fights to make him look good, and that's is what the situation was. So, but it must be true what Roy was talking about. So
when we say that Bob Arum does not respect the black fighter, this is the type of crap we're talking about. This you just heard it, and what Roy was talking about. A lot of you fans walking around now, y'all wasn't even born when that happened. What year was that? And that was like what, 94?
Yeah, they fought 94.
Come on, man. A lot of y'all born in 2000, man. Y'all wasn't even born. Y'all swimming in your daddy's nuts.
November 18, 1994.
So anyway, I'm gonna bring this to the close. Stormy, let them know how they can find you.
Everybody can find me right here on YouTube. Stormy B Man is the channel, and we got the Tuesday Tussle this week. Tuesday Tussle, we got John Scully coming back for another talk about The Second Wind. On Thursdays, 8 p.m. Central, we got the Three Wise Men of Boxing with Kurt Sugar, myself, and Scrapbook Boxing. Friday nights, we got the Chop Session with myself and Reggie Owens. And next weekend, we got a special one coming up with myself and Trick Nolte. So it's either going to be in the eye of the storm or it's going to be a live stream featuring Trick Nolte, one or the other. But yeah, that's what's happening. So check us out. We got some great things happening over on the Stormy B-Man channel.
And I'm honored because I got 2 of the 3 wise men on my panel right now. So y'all better pay homage. I got 2 of the 3 wise men here. And the other one was in the chats. Shout out to Scrapbook Boxing, man. Curtis, let everyone know how they can find you, brother.
Yes, sir. This is Curtis Anderson, better known to the world as Kurt Sugar. You can find me on Blue Blood Sports TV, Monday through Fridays, and about around 8 o'clock, 7:30, depends when you send the link. And on Thursday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, you can find me, Stormy B-Man, Scrapbook Boxing on the 3 Wise Men of Boxing.
Yes, sir. Trick Nolte, let him know.
Hey, you can find me, Anthony Carter, on Facebook, or you can find me, Trick Nolte, Trick_Nolte on Instagram. And once again, man, this is a great show. Drew, thank you for having me on. Kurt and Stormy, man, y'all great, man. It's good being on the panel with 2 boxing historians, man. And Drew, appreciate you, man. Once again, I had a good time.
I appreciate you, man. You always come through in the clutch, man. It was kind of nervous. The StreamYard wasn't working on Roy's end. So he said, can he call in? And I said, wait a minute. I figured it out. And this little Focusrite device I have right here, it came out just in the nick of time. I'm thinking on the fly, man. But this is what teamwork does, man. And just off of GP, much love and appreciation. Drew Titan, Bronson Dick. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. We gonna rock out on this. Love y'all.
My time is coming, but the ones that hate just don't know it yet. They gon' beg and cry, cause I will not forgive them, and now they regret. But the damage is done with your name on the hit list. It's time for revenge. I done told you, I warned you too many times, but you can't comprehend. With this black fist of mine, ain't no way to prepare for it. Knock you out, the Yo Bomb Squad, the world know it. I speak it, believe it, receive it, so what more can I say? I've been knocking cowards out to this day. They call it the right hand of God. They know what the damage it do. I speak it, believe it, receive it. Not only talking, I'll be showing the proof. But still they deny I'm the best. Everyone I fought, I put them to rest. How many fighters do I have to run through in order for you to admit I'm the best? All they doing, throwing dirt on my name. Own kind, trying to put me to shame. All I ever did was speak up and show my love. Pray my people will use their brain. Drunk me and cheat. It don't matter cause I'm back on my feet. Back in the gym to turn up that heat. Damn devil gon' get put to sleep. He's done. Sick of the racist acts. Why the media keep ignoring facts? I represent this country as a champ. Don't want me cause my spirit's strong. Plus I am black. Y'all know what I mean when I say this country ain't fair to this day. No matter who's next, they hitting the ground. I promise that I'm here to stay. They can't ignore me for long. Bomb Squad, we coming strong. How the hell did it take this long for y'all to know the shit that Fury was on? He must have been paying y'all good to hush and keep all this shit on the low. But I won't back down or stay on the ground, and that I think you all know. My time is coming, but the ones that hate just don't know it yet. They don't know it yet. They gon' beg and cry, cause I will not forgive them, and now they regret. Oh no. But the damage is done with your name on the hit list. It's time for revenge. Oh no. I done told you I warned you too many times, but you can't comprehend. With this black fist of mine, ain't no way to prepare for it. Knock you out, the Yo Bomb Squad, the world know it. I speak it, believe it, receive it, so what more can I say? What can I say? I've been knocking cowards out to this day.
I have a lot of people around me, positive energy, positive speaking, positive believing. Until that energy is broken. And then there's consequences behind that action.
You said that your people have been fighting for 400 years.
And your people too. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all all know what I'm talking about, man. Don't sit up here and try to bait and not know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what the fuck I talk about when I say these things. Your people too. Go look up the history. Shit, hey, don't everybody believe in Google? Go Google that shit. See what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man. You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day. To this day. Man, I'm out of here.